So in this video I'm going to review my GoldenEar Triton 2s. Let me just point out that these speakers aren't this tall. I just have them propped up on my coffee table just so you can see them better on camera. I really wanted to make this video even though that these speakers have been out for a long time on the market. In fact, the Triton 2s were the first GoldenEar speakers that they put out. You would think that there would be the Triton 1s, but no, it's the Triton 2s. I don't feel that GoldenEar gets enough publicity out there. I think there's some really big diehard fans that know and understand how good they are. I would kind of liken these to like a micro brand, more of a specialty brand. They're not as mainstream as like brands like Revel or Paradigm or Bowers and Wilkins. Even some Polk audios, their higher end reference stuff. I mean, they're obviously very mainstream. I've had these speakers since fall of last year and I absolutely love them. Let's just get it out of the way. These are the best speakers I've ever heard in my life. Before these speakers, I would say the Triton 7s were the best speakers I ever heard, but these kind of like take it up to 11 as far as sound quality and soundstage. These are not the Triton 2 Pluses, which were redesigned recently or relatively recently. These are the regular 2s. So if you're buying a set of these today, you'll be buying the 2 Pluses. The main difference is they have redesigned drivers and redesigned crossovers they're bringing them a little more up to the level of the Triton 1s, which were released after these were released. If you look at old reviews of these speakers when they came out, it just blew everybody's mind. To be honest, they still blow my mind. I haven't heard the 2 Pluses, so I can't vouch to say, I can't tell you whether or not the improvements are worthy of the increased price, because when these speakers originally did come out, they were way less than they are now. The 2 Pluses are currently going for $4,500, which is not a small amount of money, to be honest. Well, let's start off with some specs. So this is a 3-way design speaker. These speakers replaced my GoldenEar Triton 7s, which I owned for a long time and I currently still own, and I'm using them as surround sound speakers in this room. 4.5-inch mid to upper bass drivers, 2 of them. The high velocity fold-in ribbon tweeter, which is represented in all of GoldenEar speakers. So we have separate 5x9-inch bass drivers, which are driven by their own digital amplifier that puts out 1200 watts. There's 2 planar radiators. I believe they're 7x10s. These speakers also weigh about 60 pounds, so they're not super heavy. They're not super light. I can carry them pretty easily myself. In fact, I just put them on this table really easily with no issues. So obviously there's like a grid. There's a grill right in front of the driver, so if you can't see it too well, I'll do my best to give you some B-roll shots of the drivers. Obviously, I'm not going to remove this grill for the video. It'd probably be a pain in the butt to put back on, so I'd rather just show you as best as I can with the grill on. This grill helps the speakers have their like signature airfoil design, which give it a nice like curved front, which I think really looks really cool. If it didn't have this, it would look more like my Triton 7s, which have a very flat front, which make it a little more boring, I would say. This design gives me like a sense of presence and purpose, and and to be honest, these are not inexpensive speakers, so I would want to have something a little more special looking if you're paying this much for a set of speakers. Obviously, a lot of that money is going towards sound quality and engineering and high quality crossovers, the built-in amplifier, the drivers themselves, which are there's a lot of money poured into that kind of R&D. I want to mention one more thing about the aesthetics of this speaker. Like my Definitive Technology speakers and my Triton 7s, these speakers don't feature like normal speaker covers. They feature like a sock that you can pull up and down like so. So that's kind of like one of the trade-offs. This is not like I want to expose the drivers kind of speaker. This is like this is the kind of speaker you there's like only one way to have it in your room. You're just gonna have it with the sock on like this. So I'm just gonna raise it up real quick, and which I honestly think is really nice. It's nice and smooth. It actually protects the drivers too, which is actually good. I'm like tapping on it here, and It's actually good if you have kids and stuff. You know, you can feel pretty safe that the speaker, nothing's going to happen to the driver because you have this protective grille on top. And I actually think it looks really cool. It gives you that nice, like almost like aerodynamic airfoil design, which is kind of cool. So yeah, socks. So yeah, this might be a downside for some people that are looking into this speaker, but I actually kind of like it. And again, it serves the purpose of protecting the speakers. I think these speakers are more about like performance, even though I really do think they are very nice, but there are some speakers in this price range which kind of give you really good performance and maybe slightly more pleasant aesthetics. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I like the way it looks personally. I probably value more sound quality above aesthetics in my opinion. So let's talk about amplification needs. I have been connected to my receiver, my Onkyo receiver, and my old vintage Macintosh stereo. Both have no issues pushing these speakers to extremely loud volumes. So the recommended amplification is between 20 and 500 watts. They're rated at 91 decibels, which means you could, very easily power these speakers with pretty much any decent amplifier should do it, or receiver, I would say. Speakers also feature a built-in 1200 watt amplifier that are specifically meant to power the subwoofers. These are full range speakers and they can give you all the bass that you need. I'm going to go into a little more detail of how much bass you can expect in my measurements. Again, the measurements are done in my room, so your mileage will vary. But I saw a very decent bass response up to about 25 hertz. Then it goes down pretty steeply. So I'm going to go into a little detail about sound quality. I basically feel a lot of the things that I felt for my Triton 7s, which I owned for like a long time. I feel very similarly about these, except these are turned up to 11. They probably offer a slightly bigger soundstage because they're bigger speakers. The drivers are up higher, so when I'm from my seating position, the soundstage feels bigger because it actually is bigger. Than from my Triton 7s, and the Triton 7s did a really good job. I really do think the Triton 7s are all the speaker that most people need. These are the kind of speaker that you put on an old recording. That's why I'm like wearing my old Doors t-shirt. You put your own old record on, and it becomes like a different experience. It's like experience the record for the first time all over again. You hear little nuances in recordings that you've never heard before. These are definitely, I would consider, very reference quality loudspeakers. They are tonally balanced. If you look at in the measurements, I'll point out later on that if you look at the frequency response in my room, there are peaks and valleys throughout, but they're somewhat consistent. You could almost draw a straight line through it. There isn't like any level, like some speakers kind of peak in the treble or peak in the bass or have more of a U-shaped curve. These are flat. So you're not going to be peaking in treble, you're not going to be overloaded in bass. You're just going to be they're going to give you a really solid representation of what the artist or the sound engineer wanted to convey to you in the recording. These are just the 2s, the Triton 2s. If you have the 2 pluses or you're in the market for the 2 pluses, I'm assuming that those nuances will be even more apparent. As far as imaging, these speakers image very well. The center image is incredible. I have them positioned about, I'm going to say about 8 or 9 feet from each other, and I sit about the same distance from them as well. I don't think that these speakers require a subwoofer. These are true full range speakers. In fact, I believe they could even be used as the built-in subwoofers could be used as subwoofers in a home theater. So you could just buy a set of these and plug in the LFE cable into the back of these, which I'll show you later in the video. This is going to give you a little bit of a view of the back of the speaker here. This is so these are the speaker binding posts, and you got your LFE input there. There's your power input there for your cable. Little panel for a fuse if it burns out. That's if for some reason your amp doesn't work, that's a good place to start checking right here down here. Here you have your volume gain knob for the subwoofer. I currently have mine set to 12 o'clock. I do like that it kind of gives you a little click in the middle, so you know you're right in the middle. So you feel a little resistance at 12 o'clock, which is quite nice. I did try them out around 1 o'clock and I felt like it was too much, so I left it around 12 for my room. Again, you can experiment, maybe start at 10 o'clock when you, and then kind of move up and see where you like it most. I liked it at 12 o'clock there. So this is the full frequency response taken from 10 hertz all the way to 20,000 hertz for my Triton 2s. As you can see, they're pretty flat. Obviously, you have peaks and valleys throughout. At about 90 decibels, you're still getting 90 decibels at 25 hertz. But after that, at around 85, you're getting 24. At 80, you're getting about 22. So, you're getting some decent bass, but I would say at about 25 hertz is where it kind of like starts falling pretty dramatically. This is definitely what I would consider a full range speaker. Dipping down to 25 hertz is very respectable for a loudspeaker, and I think it would satisfy most music, if not all music, and give you the full spectrum of sound. I actually took some measurements with the subwoofers unplugged from the they had no power. I just wanted to see what the crossover point for the built-in subwoofers are, and it's here. As you can see, it starts dropping at about 200 hertz, and it's pretty safe to say that the crossover point is about 200 hertz, and it starts dropping dramatically. The built-in subwoofers are taking all bass below 200 hertz, so it's filling in all this here. It actually does a really nice job. This could probably be brought down a little bit if I just lowered the gain on the sub a little more, but that's a personal preference of mine. I like a slightly bassier speaker, but you have the flexibility to have the speaker sound however you like because of the gain knobs in the back of the speakers. These are my Triton 7s. You can see they're pretty similar. Obviously, these were taking months, these measurements were taken months apart, but and you're never going to get the microphone exactly where it was for each speaker, for each time. But as you can see, I'll just point out some notable things. Yes, they're both very neutral speakers. The Triton 2s are probably a little brighter up top in this reading. I would say that the Triton 7s are giving really solid bass to about 40 hertz, and I guess around that 29-ish hertz. You're getting 83 dB at 29 hertz, but really, really solid bass at about 40 hertz. As for my final thoughts on the Triton 2s, I'm gonna definitely recommend them. Yes, they're pretty expensive right now. They're currently at $4,500 a pair. Most of this speaker's competition in three-way design speakers, you're not going to get a built-in sub. These speakers outperform most speakers in their price range, and a lot of speakers that are way more expensive than these. So I still think you're getting a good value here. I think GoldenEar should definitely get a lot more attention when it comes to speakers. That's my main reason for wanting to make this video, is to kind of like promote the brand because I believe in it so much. I think their products are amazing, and I think it's hard to beat these for the money. If you found this review helpful, please like and subscribe. That would be really great for the channel. If you have any questions about the speakers, please leave them in the comments and I'll answer them as best as I can. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Wow.